Hey everybody, this is Scott Sykes, Democrat for State Senate here in our 31st District in Eastern Kentucky. That makes up Elliott, Lawrence, Martin, Morgan, and Pike counties. I'm getting used to saying that a lot here lately. Welcome to our fourth installment of our four-part series, Yay Us. We are discussing my People's Platform for Eastern Kentucky. There are four main planks of my platform, and you can go and you can see the full platform in detail at www.scottsykesforky.com www.scottsykesforkentucky.com. And so we're talking about my platform. The most important thing that is to know is I am the only candidate in this state senate race that has a full published platform. And it's not just one paragraph or one blurb. It is a full detail, one-page bullet point plan addressing each issue that we discuss in our platform, each plank of the platform. And we have talked about the economy, we talked about healthcare, we just talked about education, and now we're getting ready to talk about infrastructure. So there are four main planks of my platform. Each of these intertwine and bounce off of one another and form a symbiotic plan for addressing the issues that we're facing here up and down our creeks and hollers and across our family farms here in the 31st, but not just here in the 31st, but across all of rural Kentucky. This platform is something that I'm proud of, and this platform is something that I will always stand on to address the needs of the people of the 31st so we can move our region forward. I'm proud of this platform, which is why it is necessary for us to sit down and to talk about it. And I'm asking for you to give me input, comment, like, share this video. I want to hear your thoughts. I need to know how you are impacted so that I can work for you in Frankfort. That's it. So we're going to go ahead and start on our fourth installment. We're talking about infrastructure in this, and it's the fourth plank of my People's Platform for Eastern Kentucky. We have a common face here. Everybody's used to seeing me talk to Sis. This is Stephanie Richards, everyone, and it is rather late at night after a full day of calling voters across the district. So we have a tendency to bounce off of each other and get a little bit slap happy at times. But this is a serious video. So we're going to be giving it the attention that it needs. And again, I'm asking you all for your input. We can go ahead and get started.
Sure.
Let's talk about infrastructure.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. That's fun stuff.
That's right. You make it fun. You make it fun. The way you can connect it all together is good. So to talk about, I would assume the first thing that you would want to talk about would be the clean water issue and what Martin County's facing.
Well, Martin County doesn't have clean water, and they haven't for 18 years.
Wow.
Yes. So, let's lead off with that.
Let's lead off with that.
Okay. Let's talk about how it started. Okay. So the coal industry is exceptionally important and has played a vital role in the development of our economy. And we celebrate the coal industry, but we all too often forget the true impact that the coal industry has on the quality of life of the people who live near those surface mine sites or those abandoned deep mines. There is an ugly side to it. Some people will always say, there's this quote: "The brighter the picture, the darker the negative." Okay, and that rings true with the coal industry. Our history with the coal industry is a very complex history, and we can do a whole slew of videos on that. But and many have been written about that. But and if you talk about the negative aspects of the coal industry, you are labeled as being against coal.
Right.
No one is against coal. It's an inanimate object, and it is a natural resource that provides jobs and provided, food on the table for thousands of families, tens of thousands of families over the years.
Yes.
Dad grew up in a coal camp. Grandfather was a UMWA coal miner. All right, but the impacts that the coal industry has and is negatively affects some people.
There's a reality.
There is a reality.
Let's call it a reality.
And the people living in Martin County have faced that head on. So there's a creek over there called Wolf Creek, and there was a coal slurry that happened there. So there was an impoundment where they would clean the coal before they send it off. And with those impoundment, with the, you have all those heavy, minerals and just the toxicity of that seals at the bottom of that lake, all right, that impoundment, water impoundment, where they, coal wash, and it broke. Now, I was away from here during that time. Okay, I was gone, and so I really didn't know what all had happened. I just heard that there was a natural disaster in Martin County, and I thought, wow, that's really bad. But I was living, I think I was living in Western Kentucky at the time, and so I heard about it. But again, being here in Pike County and Martin County being as removed, from this part of Pike County as it is, you just didn't think about it or really know what those people were dealing with. And so that coal impoundment burst. It flooded Wolf Creek, all right. And thank goodness that no one lived down by the creek,
right?
All right, because there would have been substantial loss of life, because you had millions of gallons of water and coal slurry washed down Wolf Creek and into the Tug, all right. We call it the Tug. It's the Tug Fork of the you have the Russell Fork, the Leviathan Fork, and the Tug Fork that form the big that all merge into the Big Sandy.
Right.
So it was the Tug Fork of the Big Sandy, which goes up near the West Virginia line and actually separates West Virginia from Kentucky.
Right.
All right, and that's what forms the West Virginia and Martin County boundary.
Okay.
The Tug does. Okay, so you had the Tug flood with the coal slurry, and it washed out, and you can still see some of the remnants of that. All right, even today. So you go over there and you find out that, well, what happened. Let's keep on going back to what happened. So the water intake. And this happened I think it was at night when this happened, during the wee hours of the morning. Anyway, so you had the coal slurry happen, and you have a water intake which was on the Tug, which was downstream from where Wolf Creek fed into the Tug. All right, and then you had the water intake. They didn't turn off the water intake, so all that washed down and it got sucked into the water system. Okay, not just the water system, the water treatment plant, it pumped it out into all the water lines, and not just the service lines, into the home lines. People didn't know, all right? And so you had all that going into the water system. That was the beginning of the water woes of Martin County, okay? The company was fined, slap on the wrist with the EPA and the Department of Energy, okay, and that slap on the wrist never did pay for the mitigation or to fix the natural disaster that occurred there. The cleanup was just, like swiping milk, okay, and done. So there was no real substantial cleanup, and the water lines really needed to be pulled out and replaced, and that didn't happen. So and so you have that toxicity and seepage and there in the water lines, and even in the residential water lines. So that's what happened with Martin County. This is back in 2002. Mismanagement, corruption, and bad decisions have plagued Martin County for the 18 years that the citizens have been dealing with this. And you have some strong voices over there in Martin County that have brought it to the forefront. Miss Barbie Ann Maynard there in Martin County is a very strong voice for the people over there and bringing awareness to it. But still, it continues. The problem continues. Now, they have made steps in bringing in a utility management company to be able to work on fixing the water system, but there is no fix to it. The water system that they have can't sustain the number of homes that it was designed for. Okay, so it's under-engineered. All right. Okay. The water intake can't sustain, can't keep up. All right. They have a water reservoir that is in bad shape, really bad shape. I've seen it. I stood on the shore and I cried. And you have that's how bad it was. And you have water lines that are still in the ground that suffered from that coal slurry contamination that are still in the ground. You also have excessive leaks. You have and they have raised the water rates on the people over there in Martin County. I think almost 50%.
Sure.
So people are paying excessive water rates for water that they can't even trust to come out of their taps, and it's still not fixed. Okay, 2002. This is 2018.
It's a lifetime ago.
Yeah. Now imagine being born into that, and that's all you know. Now, we have people that are on fixed limited income over there, both seniors and people who are disabled and people who are unemployed because of lack of work. Okay, because of the devastating poverty that we have here in our region.
Right.
And we can be honest about that. I mean, there's some paralyzing poverty, that we have here. And we've not really gone into that because I'll just sit here and cry. Literally.
Right.
But with what's happened over there in Martin County, and for those people to have to buy water or rely upon water drops so that they can have potable water, drinkable water, safe water, and because they can't trust the water coming out of their taps, is wrong. We have to find the funding, both federal and state, to be able to address that. And we talk about return to dignity. We talk about restoring dignity to our people. Whenever you have to go and buy water and pack water in, you're no different than some of these third world countries where you see people walking for miles and carrying water on their heads.
Right.
You're just carrying it in a plastic shrink wrap container.
Yeah.
No difference.
Well, I'm thinking of watching the movie Aaron Brockovich and just feeling so moved by that movie.
Yeah.
This is no different.
Yeah.
This is no different than Flint, Michigan.
Well, Mark Ruffalo, Dark Waters, There's a modern day movie that talks about water issues and things that are going on in places like Flint, Michigan, and across our country.
Yeah.
And there's groups out there that are focused on this, and these aren't just alarmist tree huggers or anything like that. These are people who want to be able to get a shower without having to time without having to time it, so they don't get out all red skinned from the contaminants in their water lines. Yeah, that's happening right here in Eastern Kentucky, right here in our 31st district. So, and that's a that is a quality of life issue. That is a human dignity issue.
It's a life and death issue.
It's a life and death issue. Yes, it is. So when we talk about the true story and the full story, it's just like, oh, the water woes of Martin County, or poor people over in Martin County, or the water crisis in Martin County. We need to give it full attention and full recognition for what it is. I understand what it is.
You have done a lot of work over there.
Well, I've actually delivered water over there a time or two.
Yeah.
Literally. So we.
But you've been involved over there like 3 years now.
Yeah. They're about 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. It's when it's whenever they were at the water board meeting there, and they called the state police in, and citizens were about ready to lynch them and everything over there because of what was going on. I was like, what's happening? And I made some phone calls, and I found out the person I needed to talk to, and I called Barbie Ann up, and I was like, this is Scott Sykes. What is going on over there? And I went over there, and we went, she took me for that tour. She takes everybody, and we talked about stuff, and it's more than an issue. It's a problem. And it's a problem that we need to give it the right recognition
and check it off,
so it can be fixed.
Fix it and check it off.
18 years,
yeah,
too long. And I don't care what administration. I don't care who's held office where. It needs to be done, and I'm wanting to do it. So that's why that is the first thing on my list, because you know what? We can go ahead and talk about, the bad roads, the dangerous bridges, and those things, all right? But until people have safe, affordable, and reliable water. What do you need to live?
Water.
How long can you go without food before you die?
A long time.
A long time. How long can you go without water before
Not
you die?
long.
3 days. Okay? Like seriously, that's what happens. So that is, water is life. Yeah, it is. It literally is. And we have to make sure that, I'm putting it on myself. Okay? I have to make sure that the people in Martin County, and I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, all right?
Right.
The people in Martin County, everyone, I don't care if you vote or not, you deserve clean water. They deserve to not have to question the quality of the water that's coming out of their taps, and they shouldn't be going broke to be able to make sure that they have safe drinking water. They shouldn't. And we talk about my involvement. Okay, I've coordinated water drops for the folks over there at the I think, oh Lord, which fire station was it over there? Warfield. Yeah, the Warfield Volunteer Fire Department took 2 trailer loads of water over there and delivered.
During COVID.
Yeah, I was masked
Social
up.
distancing.
Yep, social distancing and everything.
And Mom threatened you.
Mom got so mad at me because of this. I was like, look, I said, I told her, I said, these people need to have this water delivered to them right now, because everybody was buying water, because that's when there was a run on toilet paper and there was a run on bottled water. And you know what? Those people over there, they needed that water more so than people,
Right.
wherever. All right. So we organized that water drop for them over there, and it was Miss Green. She's from the Fayette County, Sarah Jackson Green. She's with the Fayette County Board of Education and teachers over there in Fayette County. And they put together some money, and they contacted Barbie Ann, and Barbie Ann called me, and I called Estel Bentley up here at Mother Nature, and we negotiated a good price for the water with the money, so we'd be able to stretch it as far as we could, and I delivered it to them.
That's awesome.
2 trailer loads. So,
Awesome.
so got it over there, and I'm not bragging. I was happy to do it,
Right.
and I didn't say, "Where's our state senator?" or anything like that.
Right.
So that was, but and it's not about being a glory hound whenever you're doing this. It's about letting people know that you're stepping up to help them and that you're going to fight for them.
Well, I tell my acting students, when it's a fact, it's not bragging.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway.
When I work with education students, you can tell that you did something for someone else. Yeah. It makes the world a better place. I
swear, man. So I've got that little Chevy Colorado truck, and it was straining going over there, with that trailer loaded full of water. That's why I had to make 2 trips. So anyway, it whined. But
so we need to get that done and check it off the list.
Yes, we got. We have to get that done. We have to get that done.
So in the next point on infrastructure would be 460.
Well, I mean, we can talk about 460, but we need to talk about the completion of the Mountain Parkway. We need to talk about access and opening up access here. First, let's talk about the importance of infrastructure and how it relates to our economy. Okay. So we look at infrastructure. Think of it as the skeleton. All right, the bones of the economy. Okay, we don't have good bones. They're improving. Mm-hmm. All right. But we're still struggling, and we have to, and it's not just the big fancy 4-lane roads. All right, we have to have safe and reliable roads, like going up Elkhorn Creek, like on 292, like 194. Okay, any road here in our 31st should be well maintained. Mm-hmm. And they started putting that rumble strip in the middle of the roads and taught everybody how to drive. I didn't realize how many times I was crossing that yellow line going up Elkhorn Creek up here at Mom and Dad's. But anyway,
first week was
that
obnoxious.
First week was really obnoxious. But those rumble strips taught everybody how to drive. And but what's happened with those rumble strips is the water pools in those rumble strips, and you have cracks. Well, you have just obliterated pavement. And it takes more than the super glue that they spray on the road, the black glue that they spray on the road to cover those cracks. We have to make sure that our roads are well maintained. And it's not just, here, it's across the district. And again, over in Martin County, there's a section of road that's about maybe 200 feet long. And it's gravel. So you're going from pavement to gravel for 200 feet into a curve. Think about that for a second.
Sure.
Up a hill into a curve. Everybody over there knows what I'm talking about. But that
well,
is,
on our northern side over at Phelps, mm-hmm. and in that area.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's scary sometimes. And so that's what we're seeing with the loss of cost savings tax dollars. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, and we're feeling that, okay, because we don't have those resources to maintain these state roads. Right. But we're using the federal dollars to build the national road system like US 460, US 23, and be able to maintain those. But it's the state road systems that we have to ensure that are funded so we can do that. I mean, there's so many bridges in Kentucky that are deemed D level, that are given a grade of D, and we have to. Governor Beshear has implemented a Bridge Kentucky program, and I'm wanting to make sure that we get those funds to be able to repair the bridges that we have here. I mean, and again, I keep on talking about Martin County, all right, but so like there is a place in Martin County where it used to be a toll bridge, a private toll bridge. Okay, and it's called the Nolan Bridge, all right? And the property was given to the state to build a bridge. All right, that would save a 30-mile round trip for somebody who wants to get over the river.
Oh, wow.
So they have to drive 15 miles down this way, and then drive 15 miles back to be able to get over the river right there. Okay, we need to fix that.
Right.
Okay, there's just some of these things that we talk about in infrastructure, but yeah, the interstate road system and the U.S. road system, the federal road system plays a vital role here. The completion of the Mountain Parkway, which is 460,
Mm-hmm.
all right, but once completed, it will connect Lexington to Roanoke, all right, and from there you have I-75, you have I-81, you have major interstates that are able to have that connectivity, all right, and it's not just about that connectivity. Whenever you're looking at recruiting industry,
Mm-hmm.
industry looks at infrastructure, all right? They don't just look at the road systems. They look at the shipping systems that are in place, all right? So the trucking lanes is what they're called,
Mm-hmm.
all right? We have to have 460 completed, and we have to work with these shipping companies and transportation companies, not just CSX, all right? But I'm talking like highway transportation companies, to ensure that they have routes going through this area.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are a business and you're relying upon these transportation companies for shipment, like Kellogg's over there,
Mhm.
okay, at Kemper, they're having to pay Schneider, they're having to pay Swift, they're having to pay Heartland Express exorbitant rates, shipping rates, because they're having to go sometimes 100 miles out of their way to be able to come here and be able to drop a trailer and hook a trailer and move on. All right, so those are some of the things that we have to take into consideration. No company is going to, that phone is not going to ring letting you know that you're on the short list whenever a site selector and these business developers look and they see that there's no highway transportation infrastructure in place to support industry.
Right.
The phone doesn't ring. You don't even know why you're being ruled out, but you're not in the game. We're not going to be in the game until we get 460 completed, okay? And make sure that is taking the southern route, which is from Salyersville to Prestonsburg,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I'm not going to allow it to go from Salyersville to Paintsville. It's going to go from Salyersville to Prestonsburg, all right? And we can't put it off any longer. So whenever Governor Beshear first came into office and before the COVID-19 and everything, the pandemic and stuff started happening, there was some concern raised that the 460 bridge, the Russell Fort Bridge here right outside of Elkhorn, was going to be delayed 4 years.
Right.
Okay, to the 2024 road plan. That's all well and good. It'll take 4 to 5 years to build that bridge. If you put it off 4 years, you're looking at 9 to 10 years before that road's completed, and that is the last big thing that needs to be done. It was a $77 million project. Now it's gone up to I think $86 million because of the delay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we're having to pay more for that, but it's going to be complete. That's the good news. It's not, but
And some people went to Frankfurt and worked really hard
Yeah.
to get that through.
yeah, and I mean, because there's an outcry for it. I know that I stood right there on the project talking about the importance of the project, and because again, my experience in economic development, I understand what it means, and I think it was like, oh Lord, 11,000 cars a day
Mm-hmm.
was the number that was going to be passing by the was the estimated number 11,000 cars a day. So whenever you did the math, I mean it was I mean millions of dollars of potential revenue that we're missing out every day, every year that bridge and that road isn't built.
I'm pretty sure that two of our leaders, female leaders in the Elkhorn City area, went down to Frankfurt.
Yes.
And stood strong for that.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And the United Steelworkers Union and their representation, because they do road construction here, and they have skin in the game, and they're the ones that made the cut through happen. They're the ones that have built 23, and they've been building a large part of US 460. So they're down there at Beaver right now.
Yes.
And so they play a vital role in making sure that our roads are built and built well. But see, those are the federal roads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's important. That's important for the big infrastructure. But for quality of life, we have to think about the state roads, and that's the other thing. The state roads are funded from co-savings tax dollars and other sources, but primarily co-savings tax dollars. Now that revenue is dried up, so we have to figure out what are we going to do to be able to fund not just building new roads, state roads, but maintaining them.
Sure. Because our transportation department does amazing.
Yes,
with what they have.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're in District 12, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you're looking at the office there in Pikeville in District 12, and they do phenomenal things in being able to maintain. But you're looking at other, moving up across the district and
Mm-hmm.
everything, heading up towards Elliott County. We have to ensure that they have, safe, reliable roads as well. We can go ahead and talk about right here because that's what we know. All right,
Right.
That's what we drive on. But the folks up there, they need to know that it matters. Folks in Morton County, folks in Lawrence County,
Right.
they need to know. Lawrence County isn't just US 23, folks.
Right.
It's not. And we have to ensure that they have the resources to be able to maintain their state highways. And I want to do that. So that's where we are on that. The other thing, when we talk about Lawrence County and we talk about infrastructure, you can see what happened with US 23 and the power of US 23 whenever you look at the development that happened up in Lawrence County, all right? And it's sad because you also see a reliance upon coal. So with the loss of the coal industry, you now have large tracts of land there in Lawrence County heading up to Ashland that are now vacant. That's a testament to the loss of our coal industry and where our economy is. We have to be able to make that pivot, and if we're going to make that pivot, we have to have an economy to do it. We have to. It's necessary. And I talk about it being the backbone, the bones of the economy, but you have to have that shipping to be able to move that economy, and that's the muscle of the economy. The shipping is the muscle, and we have to be able to flex that muscle to be able to build. We have to. And we have other sources, that we have to also take into recognition. So we have industrial parks that are just sitting empty across our district.
Yes.
Okay, and we have some counties that don't even have industrial parks. We have to figure out now. Just because you build it doesn't mean they're going to come. Okay, but we have to figure out what we're going to do to be able to put those empty tracts of land back to use so that they are active in our economy.
Yeah.
Because if a parcel of land is just sitting there vacant for years,
There's something wrong.
there's something wrong. It's not doing anybody any good.
Right.
And we have to make sure that those are put to use for the benefit of the people and so our people can work. And that's it.
All right. Any other
I
points
feel
on
like there's so
infrastructure?
much more
There's
to
so
talk
much
about.
more.
But we just
Broadband.
yes, yeah. I don't have internet right now. Did you know that?
my internet's been off and on for 3 days.
Oh no, like nothing. Okay, like zip, not a zilch, flashing lights, nothing. For 2 days. I called them. There's an outage in your area. She was very nice. All right. But there's
I just upgraded my internet so that I could get some. I just paid more so that I could have some.
I'm paying for 100 meg. Well, you get 30.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's what it's like. And thank you for paying that.
Okay.
You're not going to credit me? No, sorry. You got internet, right? Yep. Good on you. But I mean, we're not going to have a modern economy unless we get reliable internet service. I don't know, and I'm not looking for a T1 line coming into my house. All right, that's not what I want. I just want to be able to play Call of Duty without it freezing. Okay, like seriously. I mean, because I can't tell you how many times I've gotten killed playing Call of Duty, because of the lag of my internet. And I'm like, no,
Let's talk about Zoom meetings right now in COVID. Let's talk about Zoom meetings.
Well, I was on a Zoom meeting. Okay, and it was the Kentucky Young Democrats Zoom meeting that I was on. Not before last, or anyway, and so I get showered, I get cleaned up and everything, all spickied up and stuff, and I'm there and I open up my Chromebook and everything. I'm like, nothing. Okay, it's just spinning. It's 6:25. We're going live at 6:30. Beads of sweat. Just got out of the shower. All right, big guy sweating. It's not good. Okay, so I'm like panicked. All right, say a few words, say a couple of prayers. All right, and then I look at my phone. All right, and I was like, I can hotspot my phone. So I get my phone, I hotspot my phone, and it hooks up, and I'm able to get on the Zoom meeting. All right, reliable internet service is kind of an important thing.
If you lived where I live, your phone doesn't hotspot.
Exactly, because I'm looking at a tower, like literally I'm looking at a cell tower, right? But you're on the creek, so you don't have that.
I don't get the hotspot.
That's right.
On Zoom meetings, people ask me, Stephanie, can you cut out your video and mute so that you don't slow us down?
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Because you're still in their bandwidth.
Because I'm still in their bandwidth.
Man.
Stephanie, I think it's you. Probably.
Yeah, let me fix that.
Yeah. So COVID has shown us that there are jobs that can work from home.
Yeah.
And there are and TikTok has shown us that there are ways to make money from those jobs at home.
Yeah.
Right? But if you can't get online.
Okay, true story. All right. I was a new member of a management team.
Talk about it.
I was a new member of a management team for a startup company. All right. And we were in a developing area of rural Kentucky, all right? And I needed to make a call, okay? And this is in the days of the flip phone, right? So I get out and nothing, okay? And I look at the county executives that were there with us on the tour and everything, and I'm like, do y'all have service here? And they said, oh no, you don't have service here. And I looked at them, and I looked at some of the guys that were with us on the trip and everything, and then they looked, they said, you got to change that. Because this was like going to be a serious development, okay? Right. And I don't want to disclose anything about it, right? But I mean it was like hinging on, if I can't pick up my phone and make a call right here where my office is going to be in 6 months, then we've got a problem. And You know, you know what happened? 3 weeks later, started building a cell tower. Like seriously, that's the type of response that we have to have at the county level and state level to ensure that we're going to have quality jobs for our people. We have to have that level of engagement because these companies, they have the pick of the litter. And it is a bullseye mentality. And we're out here on the fringes. Yeah. We're never going to get to top dead center until we have leadership who understands the nuances of economic development, the nuances of building a new economy, and the nuances of recruiting industry to fuel that economy and economic growth. I understand that. I've done that. And that's why infrastructure to me is the fun topic. You know, because you're building things. You know, it's like a kid with Legos. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I can build stuff, and it's cool, and you have big machines doing big things, you know, and you have smart people doing amazing things. It's the life of government, and if you want to really know what the true purpose of government is, it comes down to infrastructure, because the quality of people's lives rely upon infrastructure. The aqueducts of Rome, okay, pyramids of Giza, all right, the ruins in Machu Picchu. Those testaments to infrastructure still stand today.
And how they do
that. You know, I mean, we're still amazed by that. But those feats of engineering, that level of ingenuity, built cultures that we marvel at today. That's the coolest thing about infrastructure. And that, I mean, and whenever you're here and you see them rolling up track, you see them cutting down substations in half, you know that that's not painting a positive, a rosy, long-term economic picture for our area.
They've given up.
These companies like Kentucky Power, AEP, CSX, all right, they operate on 5, 10, 25, and 50-year plans, okay? If they're rolling up those assets and cutting down those assets, they know that there is not going to be a future demand for that level of infrastructure and for that level of development. So they are reducing the long-term risk of those assets, okay? That's the financial side of it. That's the boring stuff of it. But that's the part that makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up whenever you're from Eastern Kentucky and you see what's happening.
Yeah.
Because if they're rolling up track and if they're cutting down a substation to half the size of what it was, it's not efficiency measures to, you know, because, oh, we're being efficient. We're being efficient because we run a lean company, and this is an expenditure and a risk and a liability that we no longer want to burden. We're taking it off our books. That's scary. And as a leader, I understand what that, you know, that bell ringing whenever you see that. We have to be able to make the pivot and grow our economy. We do that with having healthy people. We do that by having well-educated communities. We do that by having reliable, safe infrastructure for our people to live comfortable and happy lives here. That's what it comes down to. Everything ties together. This whole People's Platform for Eastern Kentucky is a symbiotic platform.
It's a package.
It's a package. Everything plays off each other. And we have to have leadership who understands how this works with that and be able to take all these moving parts of the machine and put them together and make it work. I want to be in Frankfurt so I can do just that.
That's what we're working toward.
That's what we're working toward. That's what we're working toward.
I think that's a good ending.
I think that's a good ending. All right, everybody. This is Scott Sykes. I'm a Democrat running for state senate here in our 31st district. We have the Democratic primary coming up on June 23rd. You can vote right now in two different ways. You can order your online ballot. You have until June 15th to do that. You can go and vote early until June 22nd. And after that, you will be able to go and vote in person at the polling stations, which we will be providing on our Facebook page, and we will also be providing a link on our web page as well. So you'll be informed and know how to participate in this historic election. And I say historic because we are in historic times. We are in the middle of a global pandemic and the national, turmoil and unrest that's been going on across our country has made 2020 a year to remember.
It certainly has.
It really has, and along with the economic impact that so many have suffered. So this is a historic time. I do encourage you to vote and be part of the democratic process. Vote for me, Scott Sykes, for state senate here in our 31st district in Eastern Kentucky. And you can also view my full platform at www.scottsykes.com. That's scottsykesforkentucky.com. You can go to the tab that says People's Platform, and you can review my full platform there. Please like, comment, share on this video. Let me know what roads and bridges that you worry about in your commute to take your children to school or on your way to work or to see your parents or just being out, just going to the store or living. Let me know about your experiences with water quality and the concerns that you've had to deal with.
There's one thing I want to remind you to say.
Yes.
So one thing that you say, and we didn't get it in there, is that we are all one bad day.
Oh yes,
That hits home for me.
Yeah.
When you've said that before.
So yeah, I mean, so we talk about water and infrastructure and stuff, and every water system. And I'm glad that you brought this up because there's so many things that we talk about. Every public water system is one bad day away from dealing with the tragedy and ill effects that Martin County has suffered from for the past 18 years. One bad day away, one train accident away, one environmental disaster away. We need to think about that. We need to have leadership who understands the importance of having sound infrastructure, but also returning the soundness of infrastructure once it's been negatively impacted by Mother Nature or man. So that's the one thing that we have. And on that note, I think we'll go ahead and call it a night. Been a long day. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. Again, please like, share, comment. Let me know what's going on in your part of the 31st or in your corner of Kentucky. Everyone stay safe and be healthy and be good to each other and be kind to each other.